In this lesson, we're going to learn about anger control plans. Obviously, this is not a live group, so you can't report your highest level of anger on the anger meter in a session, but you can put any of your talking points that you want to in the comments section below. One goal of cognitive behavioral therapy is to reframe the way that you think about a problem. That's the cognitive part, so that you can change your approach to it. That's the behavioral part. So when you use cognitive behavioral techniques, you train your brain to respond in a different way to a problem. So I want you guys to pay attention to feelings and sensations that let us know when we're getting angry and practice those techniques that we can use to stop the anger from escalating. The more we pay attention to the anger cues and the triggers, and the more that we practice different techniques to stop the anger, the better you're going to get at managing your anger. And up to this point, we focused on how to monitor the anger. So in our first lesson, we learned how to use the anger meter to rate our anger. And the second lesson, we learned how to identify the events that were associated with your anger, as well as the physical and the behavioral, emotional, and cognitive cues that were associated with each event, and also how to track them with that anger awareness record. So today I want to discuss how to develop an anger control plan and a social support plan, and how you can use specific strategies like timeouts and relaxation to control your anger. I'll also cover other strategies later on, like learning how to change your negative or hostile self-talk and using the conflict resolution model. But these are more advanced strategies, and they can be used in conjunction with the timeouts and relaxation. The basic idea here, though, in developing an anger control plan is to try many different strategies and find the anger control techniques that work best for you. And once you identify these strategies, you can add them to your anger control plan and use them when you start to get angry. Some people refer to their anger control plan as their toolbox, and the specific strategies that they use to control their anger as their tools. And this analogy may be very helpful. Again, it's going to be important to identify the specific anger control strategies that work best for you. These strategies should be written down in a very formal anger control plan that you can refer to when you encounter an anger-related event, something you can fold up and put in your pocket. An effective strategy that a lot of people use, for example, is to talk about their feelings with somebody that's supportive, who maybe wasn't involved with the event that led to the anger. And so by discussing your anger, you can start to identify the primary emotions that underlie it and determine whether your thinking and expectations in response to the anger-related event are even rational. A lot of times a friend who you trust can maybe provide a different perspective on what's going on in your life. Even if your friend just listens, expressing your feelings can make you feel better. And it's a good idea to make a plan ahead of time for social support. Who are you going to talk to when you need some perspective on your anger? The long-term objective of anger management is to develop a set of strategies that you can use appropriately for specific anger-related events. I'm going to introduce some more strategies and techniques that are helpful in managing your anger later on. But once you've selected these strategies that work best, you should refine them by applying them in real-life situations. So to use the toolbox analogy here, different tools may be needed in different situations. And I'm going to return to this concept later on and kind of highlight the importance of developing your anger control plan that's going to help you to manage your anger effectively in a variety of situations. So, as I mentioned in the first video in this series, the concept of the timeout is especially important to anger management. It's the basic anger management strategy that's recommended for inclusion in everybody's anger control plan. This is the first thing that you need to write down on your anger control plan. It's similar to kind of how a football team takes a timeout to regroup. A timeout means leaving the situation that's causing the escalation of anger or putting a stop to the discussion that's provoking it. It's possible to also develop a formal timeout policy with family and friends. A formal timeout involves relationships with other people. It's going to require an agreement or a plan that's been drawn up in advance. And these relationships might involve your family members, your friends, your coworkers. Any of the parties involved can call a timeout based on the rules that have been agreed upon by everybody. And the person calling the timeout can leave the situation if necessary. It is agreed, however, that he or she is going to return to either finish the discussion or postpone it, depending on whether all those involved feel like they can successfully resolve the issue. And whether you use a timeout or a formal timeout, these strategies are important because they can be effective in the heat of the moment. Even if your anger is escalating quickly on the anger meter, you can avoid reaching a 10 by taking a timeout and leaving the situation. And timeouts are also effective when they're used with other strategies. So for example, you can take a timeout, go for a walk. You can also take a timeout and call a trusted family member or friend, or maybe write in your journal. These other strategies should help you calm down during that timeout period. So I want you to think about some other specific strategies that you might be able to use to control your anger. And kind of determine whether these strategies should be included in your anger control plan. And you can put some of these things in the comments section below. Maybe get some ideas from some other people. So here's a sample anger control plan. It's literally on a sheet of paper. You're just going to write my anger control plan and what techniques are you going to use to control your anger. So take a timeout needs to be the very first one. Another one could be talk to a friend. This would be somebody you trust. You can use the conflict resolution model to solve problems with expressing your anger. You could exercise, like take a walk or go to the gym, attend a self-help group or 12-step meeting, or maybe sit and explore your primary feelings that are beneath the anger. These are all effective tools in managing our anger. Another important part of the anger control plan can be your social support. And you should seek support and feedback from people that, you trust to support your recovery, including anger management strategies that are going to de-escalate rather than escalate the situation. So, you should seek advice from other people who are in recovery, members from support networks like 12-step groups or sponsors or mutual help group members, or maybe even people in the comment section below. A social support action plan that you develop yourself may help you follow through with seeking social support. So we all need support at different times in our lives to help us reach our goals and deal successfully with challenges that come our way. So having a network of people who understand and support your efforts to change can be extremely helpful. So some types of support that are out there are the self-help groups, professional help, like getting a counselor or a therapist or even a psychiatrist, spiritual or religious affiliations, personal relationships, co-workers, community service agencies, the list can go on and on. So we want to talk about how to ask for support. You want to be really specific about what type of support you need. Don't leave it up to the other person to guess what you need. Be very specific and show appreciation for that person's support if it was helpful. A simple thank you goes a long way. And give feedback to them if the support that they're giving isn't helpful. Let them know, hey, I really appreciate you giving me that advice or telling me, this, that, or the third, or helping me out with this. This part of it didn't work out, or I don't feel I can go that route because XYZ. And just give them a little bit of feedback. Don't tell them they were wrong. Just give them feedback about what couldn't work for you. And then find a way to support the other person. Support's not just a one-way street. You don't want to take. It has to be a give and take there. So in your journal or on your own sheet of paper, I want you to write down 3 different people Or if you don't know their names, you can put descriptions of them. Like maybe you don't have a counselor right now, you could just write counselor. But if you do have a counselor, you can write your counselor's name here. And then write how the support is going to help. And what is your plan for getting this support? How are you going to ask for this support? And when are you going to ask for this support? So we've discussed the physical cues to anger, like the increased heartbeat, feeling hot or flushed, or muscle tension. And these types of physical cues are examples of what is commonly called the stress response. In the stress response, the nervous system is energized. It's in an agitated state. And so a person can really have trouble returning to lower levels on the anger meter. And additional anger-related situations and other events can increase the risk for further escalation of anger. So it's just one thing happening after another, and you're going to get more and more angry. So an interesting aspect of the nervous system is everybody has a relaxation response that counteracts the stress response. It is physically impossible to be both agitated and relaxed at the same time. And if you can relax successfully, you can counteract the stress or the anger response. So we're going to end this video by practicing a deep breathing exercise as a relaxation technique. In the next video, we're going to practice progressive muscle relaxation as another relaxation technique. I want you to get comfortable in your chair. If you like, you can close your eyes or just gaze at the floor. Take a few moments to settle yourself. Now, make yourself aware of your body. Check your body for any tension, starting with your feet, and scan upward to your head. Notice any tension you might have in your legs, your stomach, your hands, and arms. Is there any tension in your shoulders, your neck, and your face? Try to let go of the tension that you're feeling. Now, make yourself aware of your breathing. Pay attention to your breath as it enters and leaves your body. This can be very relaxing. Let's take a deep breath together. Notice your lungs and your chest expanding. Now slowly exhale. Again, take a deep breath. Fill your lungs and your chest. And notice how much air you can take in. Hold it for a second, and then release it and slowly exhale. One more time. Inhale slowly and fully. Hold it for a second, and then release. Now on your own, continue breathing in this way for another couple of minutes. Continue to focus on your breathing. With each inhalation and exhalation, feel your body becoming more and more relaxed. Use your breathing to wash away any remaining tension.